All right, good evening. Welcome to C&T Collectibles, the home of questionable advice and even worse production value. I am C.
I'm T.
And we're going to do our baseball card review. So this is a price action look at our favorite cards. Fundamentals will tell you what should be happening. The price action will tell you what is happening. So we'll see if we can pick up any value here or help anybody out. And we'll just get started and dive right in with our Mr. Beast Index. And we start that off with Mike Trout. And so the long-term trend of Mike Trout is up.
And I bet.
Yeah, so in the short... Go ahead.
Favorite kind of fish is trout, maybe.
Well, you know what? Maybe he'd feel kind of weird about that. Maybe it's not trout. Maybe he eschews trout altogether because it'd be kind of weird. In the short term, we've got this massive spike happening here, and there's very low buying, so it's easy for sellers to come in. All these people that bought down here, if they want to take advantage of profits, to overwhelm that single buyer at that point. And so we are seeing these prices start to come down. And so we kind of pointed out over the past few weeks, you know, the levels to watch on the way up. And on the way down, you might get another crack at this thing, and it could happen at about $4,000. Although there's a lot of people stepping in to buy here, but right now his PSA 10 is about $5,500. PSA 9 is at $1,950, so that would imply roughly a $6,000 price on his PSA 10.
So is that like 7,000 is dropping down to about 5,000?
Yeah. So 7,500 was the high. There were a few sales up in here, but I think eBay canceled them. They were fake sales. And so it is trending down. So as long as this trend is in place, then you could see a tag of this previous trend line, and that comes in right around the $4,000 area. So we'll see how that plays out here. But right now, if you're looking for Mike Trout, prices continue to come back in, and we'll give you another shot here. So if you're looking at the long term, obviously the trend is still up, and you just want to own a Mike Trout. But again, could see something back into this area here. Maybe even the bottom of the line. But there's plenty of upside for down the road. So.
See what it's been doing the whole time. It's going up and down, and right now it's going up. Going down.
Right.
So it can go up again.
Absolutely. You got to take a little pause here. We got to get some buyers to come back in if we want to push this thing higher. So, but they're not ready to push it high just yet. So there may be a little bit more downside. So, all right, moving on to Luis Robert, the R in Mr. Beast. And so we had talked about this channel before. You had this kind of compression. It's like, usually it resolves to the breakout, but you need that breakout to happen before it's confirmed.
And right now he just has to have a pretty good spring training. And he could break out. He could,
but right now people are just nuts. Right. Here's $120, here's roughly $90, and it's just ping-ponging back and forth. So they're respecting these levels here. So as it stands, buy at 90, sell at 120 until that changes. If it gets above 120, then you could see $150 up here, and if it doesn't go, then you could see roughly $60 if he gets off to a rough start. So we'll see how that kind of works out. But Luis Robert, whole lot of nothing. So, all right, Mookie Betts, whole lot of something. He's been on fire here lately. So again, the long-term trend is up on Mookie Betts.
Kind of like Mike Trout, going up and down,
Absolutely. And you know, people will call him the number 2 player right behind Mike Trout. So maybe his prices should reflect that. But he's got a few more cards. He's got some additional. Flagship chrome and things like that. Mike Trout didn't have any of that.
But
he had the
is
short
on
print
the
of
track
chrome.
For being a Hall of Famer.
No question about that. Yes, no question about that. No question about that, or no question about that. What is it? Trend is up, and then you had a breakout here.
I thought you meant like he's not on the track for Hall of Famer.
No, he's definitely on the track. So do I agree, or do I say no question, or yeah? So breakout, and then
and
up
he also
here.
won the World Series last year.
Yes, he did. He had some help. So you had a breakout of these all-time highs. You had the previous highs, which is too much, and it came back. It took a while, but it did come back a bit, and then it gave you another shot here at the bottom of the trend line. And now you are trend channel. Now you are breaking out, and this was one sale that pushed it from kind of that $600 or something like that to new highs. But a lot of buyers came in. So it's starting to curl back down, but I think you'll see even more buyers step in at this $800 level, and then it could start to rise again. So we'll see how that works. But
it could rise to 1,000 if he has a good spring training, maybe even a good regular season.
Yeah, he probably will. So
since he's on the Dodgers now, the Dodgers are
exactly. Mookie Betts, $913 for the PSA 10, $295 for the PSA 9. So you're roughly in that 3-to-1 ratio that you like to see on between a 10 and a 9. So no advantage to either. But we went through our meal day the other day, and the Bowman Chrome, you can get those raw for under $40. And so if you want a Mookie Betts and this isn't appealing, which I don't blame you, Bowman Chrome, check it out.
The next one is another good White Sox player, Eloy Jimenez.
Correct. What do you see, Tom?
I see a lot of up and down in there.
You're correct. Whoops. Went back one. Here we go.
Because I don't know how to explain it better.
So support is where prices will bounce off of. Resistance is where they kind of bump, they bump their head up against it. So,
I would have never guessed that.
Well, so support, resistance, near support. Now you got up to the resistance area again, and it's backing away. Then you had this compression thing, and this usually resolves itself in the direction of the previous trend. So, you could say this is the previous trend and it's going up, or the trend is down and it broke down. So anyways, it came back down to this call it $60 level here and got a nice bounce. It's kind of in this area is a decent spot for it to do so. It was really close there and in here. So we'll see what happens with Eloy this year. The projections for him look fantastic.
Since he has a new great team in 2018, they're like, no,
right, and he didn't play.
And then they got Lou Bob, Yasmani Grandal, which helped, and they got Eloy 2 years ago, which really helped.
Absolutely. So we'll see what happens with them. But a guy, again, I'm looking for 40 home runs, 285 average. That's a beast, and for him to go for $60, I think is, I'm not gonna say criminal or anything like that, but it's cheap. And if you're looking for Eloy, this is a decent spot to do it. So $65 for his PSA 10. For PSA 9, spend like $20-25 on it, but otherwise you could probably get raws pretty cheap. And these are recent cards, so you don't have to worry about condition, I think, as much, because most of them should be in pretty good condition. People are taking care of their cards a lot better than they did a decade ago. Ronald Acuna
is another Brave.
It is another Brave.
Like Freddie Freeman or Ozzy Albies.
Yeah, we should look at those guys. We'll look at them next week. Remind me on that one.
Okay, well, Ronald Acuna is the one that we've been looking at mostly.
Yeah, so we really liked him in this area. We started beating the table a little bit, and he's.
Where did you buy him?
And again,
I know you bought one in there, but which one? Where did you buy it?
Right here.
Ooh, that's a good spot.
It is a good spot, but please don't confuse brains for a bull market. Everything is going up.
But you were buying it for like $200.
No, I was buying the PSA 9, and I'll show you what I was. In a minute, we'll go over why I did the PSA. Exactly, we'll go over why I like the PSA 9 in this instance here. So the trend is down, but we're looking for maybe that $250 price target. At some point, I thought maybe he would do something during the season that would do it. He's wasting no time here, and that brings him to the top of the range here. So he might be in for a little bit of a pause.
He could break out. He just has to have.
I think he will.
He just has to have like maybe 3 good games, and he could break out.
He could hit a home run and break out the way this market is going here. So he's at this level where selling is.
Or just get a hit and break out.
Well, a good hit. So he's at this level where selling has taken place before and at the top of the range here. So we'll see. You could see a little bit of selling here. But these prices are compressing. Buyers are stepping in quicker and quicker, so we could see a decent breakout to push him up to that $300 level that he was at before. So we'll keep an eye on this one. Now, this is why I bought the PSA 9. $250 is his PSA 10. $60 is his PSA 9. So if you're looking at a 3-to-1 ratio, we should be at about $80 to $85 on that PSA 9. So I'm looking for more upside in the PSA 9s as this price continues to increase. I think the 9s will catch up. People will say, I don't want to pay $250 for that, but a $60 card for Ronald Acuna, that makes some sense. And so that's why I like the PSA 9 in this instant. There's just too much of a discrepancy there. So, all right, Juan Soto. Wow, he had some nice purchases this week here. So,
and he also won the World Series a year ago.
He did. So, a couple of years ago. All right. So we've got the longer term trend is up. In the shorter term, we had you had this resistance level here. So you had this previous high. We came up there, and people that bought here got their money back, so they sold. But you saw a lot of transactions here. This wasn't just a lightly transacted card, and so it's tough to overwhelm the people that bought these cards and push those prices way down. So you got a little bit of a pullback here, and then it broke out, and we saw highs around $375. Then they quickly came back down, so starting to thin out just a little bit. It's just a couple of transactions here, so starting to get a little bit light in volume terms, but the trend, even in the shorter term, is up with this card here. So maybe it comes back down to 300. That's kind of your floor at this point, and call it 400, 425 is your high. And if he does what, again, people are thinking he's going to do this year, then $400, $450. That's been our target for a while, and I think you'll see that sooner rather than later.
He just has to maybe have a pretty good, like maybe 5-3.
He was the best hitter in baseball last year.
3 games.
He'll be the best.
Break up.
Yeah, no, he doesn't even need that. People just they'll use that as a buying opportunity if he slips at all here. So best hitter in baseball. The projections are.
Trout or you bet?
I might take Soto. If you look at his walk rate and his strikeout rate, it's insane. So, all right, $372 for the PSA 10, $120 for the PSA 9. So the 3-to-1 ratio is in effect by either, but the price is heading north here. So could fall just a little bit in the near term, but don't give it too much room here. All right, the big news of the week: Tatis going nuts. Right, he got that $340 million contract. Over 14 years.
340?
Yeah, for 14 years. Yeah, no quitting. Right? Pretty crazy stuff here.
That's
so.
like what I do in Madden. I give Patrick Mahomes $350 over like 15 years.
I think it's fair to call this video game money here. So Fernando Tatis, again, longer term trend is up as in most cards at this point here. So you had your compression and breakout and then a monster move up. In very few buying here, quickly overwhelmed, and the price came back down to kind of this level here. Then you had your compression, a break up, and then you saw selling again at this previous level here where let's go downstairs and take a few swings. You can be Fernando Tatis, just got to do like 100, call it like 100 swings a day, all right? Prices got back to this previous point here and backed off, but as we pointed out, the buyers were coming in sooner and sooner, and this week you had a big pop. Now, it brought it just barely above its all-time high here, so this was a big move and a big sale and a big purchase, but it does put it to all-time highs. So, I mean, it's not like this thing, it's up huge for the week, but all time, it's just barely skidded above its all-time high here. So it's right in there. Now, if we see enough buying here and that holds, then you will see further increases in prices, and he will also be call it, his current price is $330. He could also be a $400 card. We'll see how that kind of $450 card maybe. We'll see how that goes.
It looks like breaking out does not take too much.
No, once the more you bump up against this line, the greater chances you just go above it. So
insane team, he could break out very easily.
Oh, absolutely. Let's just see what he does over a full season. He hasn't done that yet. He's played like 143 games. Tatis, PSA 10, $330. PSA 9, $90. So that PSA 9 probably goes up to, should be about a $110 card. So maybe this comes back a little bit. There's a little too much too quick. Because the PSA 9's implying about $270 price, but we'll see how it goes here. We'll kind of watch that one, but the 9 is, as of right now, undervalued. All right, and you can look at its heritage here. A little gentler trend here, but you had its all-time high. It broke out of its all-time highs a while ago. Tag the top of, so if we take this line and make it parallel, top of that range and is coming off. So we'll see if the buying picks up and goes to that one, but a little more affordable option, I think, for the heritage. Yes.
Yes.
All right, extra innings. Michael Jordan. I don't know why I'm obsessed over this card. It just kind of, for the higher end, this is one I think drives the market.
Jordan, at school today, we do Black History Month videos,
sure.
And Michael Jordan was the Black History Month person of the day.
Yeah, sure. That works. That's a good one, right? Mm-hmm. All right, the longer term trend is up. He snuck outside the range here. It is important to hold it, and he didn't. So he's coming back down. We had that kind of that $15,000 level, and it's starting to hold there as well. So eventually, again, I think you can kind of sneak your way back down, to call it $6,000 or $8,000. So we'll zoom in just a little bit here, and you can see what's going on. You had your breakout, and a mouse move up, and then very few buyers here that were quickly overwhelmed, and the trend is down. And so we came back down to this first target of $15,000, and got to bounce back up to this previous point, and then back down to 15. And those. They're selling quicker and quicker at this point here. What you want to see is buyers come in and start to push it upwards, but the sellers are starting to overwhelm, and they're coming in quicker and quicker, selling at lower prices. So who knows what's going to happen? But in probability terms, it's more likely that this breaks down.
Michael Jordan is just it looks like it's basically a lot of mountains because Mount Everest is right there.
Sure, right?
So it's basically a lot of mountains, but
gotcha.
They're not the size of Mount Everest.
No, but this kind of was. It was called Matterhorn then. How about that? So these are quicker and quicker. So as these compress, you could see a breakdown, and I think this is your target if you're looking for this card, kind of in that $10,000, $8 to $10,000 area or something close to that. You may get another crack at him. So PSA 9, kind of the same thing. Hit this peak, fewer sellers. Not a lot of traded in this area now because these prices are nuts. You can see there's a lot of purchases in here, and here not so much. But tag the bottom of the trend line and bounce. So we'll see what happens. But if it breaks this again, you're kind of leaking back down to that $40,000 area. And honestly, if it got down to call it 25 or 30,000 at some point. If that PSA 10 drops down to 10, that PSA 9 or that 8, then that PSA 9 could be like a $30,000 card. So we'll see. But the trend on those are down.
The PSA 9 going for like $33,000. I feel like Jeff Bezos would be like, oh, I'd buy 7.
That's like lunch for him. All right, Alex Bregman. So we'll finish up with a couple here. Alex Bregman. The trend is up on this one. He's putting in new highs. So a lot of cards, we've been on this one for a while, saying please buy Alex Bregman. But he's starting to put in some new highs here, and the trend is clearly up. I think the projections are expecting big things from him this year. It could certainly happen. This is the Chrome version, but yeah, he is. I mean, big things as in top 5 player overall. Type big things. So
he's one of the best players on the Astros, no doubt.
Not last year, and there's still a hangover of that and the trash can thing and all that kind of stuff. But
now they don't have AJ Hinch, so they won't have trash cans.
Exactly. Maybe the Tigers can benefit from the trash can. The trend is up, and he's broken to new highs. So above $60, I think you got to own Alex Bregman.
But why are the Tigers just getting CJ Cron and Jonathan Scope if they're making it
It's
cheap?
not just. It's not just. They got him last year. All right. We'll finish up here with Vladdy Jr. here. So a lot of peaks here, and then
he's on another team that has really raised his players. Kind of like the Padres. They were bad, and now they're amazing.
Really, what players?
Really bad, and now they're amazing.
I thought you said something else. All right. So again, broken, the downtrend, and then we kind of broke above it, and now you're kind of struggling with this area here. But this is all-time highs for Vladdy, so the trend is up. I think people are expecting big things out of him now that he's shed a few pounds. So we'll see if he can do something with that. So right now you're at the top of this range here where selling has taken place in the past. So I don't know if you do much with it right now. So $200 or something like that. Yeah, I think you could still get his PSA 9s in this card for $50. And that's fairly cheap. It should be about a $70 card. If he does anything, those will catch up.
Just like I was saying, they're bad players. Now they're good players because they were in the minors, and now they're insane on the
They graduated. They graduated. We'll go with they graduated. So, all right. Anyways, trend is up. Prices are compressing. So if he does live up to those projections this year, then this does bust out, and you can see that at a $250, $300 card as well. So right now, maybe don't do too much, but if it gets down to that the $200, so what is it right now? $208. We can do better than that. Call it $150. Then I think you're good to go. Is that all we have? One more. Rafi Devers, sideways action here. Top of the range, bottom of the range, broken down trend. If he does anything here, top of the range, $80. All right, and that's Tiger Woods. We still have Tiger Woods. You're absolutely right. All right, this is the last one, I swear. All right, longer term uptrend for Tiger Woods. We said, you know what? We had a little market bubble video here. And said, look to return to some sort of reference point, call that $500 right there, and it did. And so then he said did another video said that's a decent time to buy.
It's almost exactly like Trout,
and pretty much.
Mookie Betts and Ronald Acuna.
More often,
going up and down.
Right, very few sales here, quickly overwhelmed, and then a lot of buying in this area here. When it got down to 500, a lot of people were looking at this, or they were remembering the previous high, saying, "Oh, I totally missed that," and they want to buy there. So it kind of came into this zone here, and it's curling back up again. So there was your shot. I don't know if it comes back down or what happens here, but that was your shot, and this could make its way slowly, more sustainably, to the previous high, and that would be very healthy. So
he's one of the only golfers I know. And
the
other ones are you, Grandma, Ginger, Darren, and Papa.
Right, and Happy Gilmore. Happy 25th anniversary,
and
Happy Gilmore.
Yes.
All right, that's what we got for you. Pencils down, beers up, your homework is done. Have a great weekend.
Bye.